Hey guys, Sonic with you 299 here, and today, Frontiers comes out in about 4 days, so I figured I would take the time to give my final thoughts before the actual game comes out, because last time I actually did a video on Frontiers was all the way back in June, and a lot has happened since June. When I believe it was when the combat was shown off. And I figured that I would just wait to do another discussion like this until we had more information. And I guess before I get started, I should get a few formalities out of the way. Yes, I know I need to record Sonic 2 and 3. Uh, I've been meaning to for the past few weeks, but a lot of stuff has been happening in my life, and I don't really feel like getting into now. Even doing a video like this, I've been meaning to do this for uh, about a week or so. But again, stuff just keeps on popping up. And yes, I am using Forces as background music. We'll get through this, all right? I promise. You'll be fine. But yeah, I guess I should get started with how I'm feeling about Frontiers. Cause obviously when the game was first shown off and the IGN first stuff in June, it looked bad. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That IGN first gave off the absolute worst first impression that it could possibly give. And and I think it just looked so lackluster. It looked slow. There was a lot of popping and animations just weren't there at all. Uh, Even though I did say that the combat gameplay it looked better, it's still wasn't like ideal, you know, for various reasons. Then, as June kept going, we found out that that the footage we were seeing was from an early build. Don't I don't know how early of a build that was. Um, the fact that it was early build is kind of raising some questions, but that's besides the point. So the IGN first kept dropping. They had their preview. They had a Q&A. They had some interviews. um, and the more it kept being shown off, the more things started to click with me for in certain cases. The idea of just being let loose on this open zone, as they call it, on these five big islands with Sonic's moveset in mind, that sounds like a dream come true to me. That sounds absolutely phenomenal to me. Because in my opinion, if that can give me the same enjoyment as I find in like Spider-Man PS4 or Batman Arkham City or Night, where I just even after playing the games multiple times, I still find myself just popping those in every now and then just to roam around the city, just because I find the movement fun. If Frontiers could give me something like that, then I figure we have at least a game that would be better than Forces, in my opinion. Because I was still thinking that back in June. um, that and the soundtrack sounded really good from what we heard. I was really digging the piano vibes they were giving off. Tomoyo Otani really did his thing with that. And then I want to say everything changed when Summer Games Fest happened. Um, there was an event about halfway through June. It's called Summer Games Fest. It was pretty much like a pre E3 by with Jeff Keighley, who does Game Awards. But since there was no E3 this year, this was pretty much our replacement, and I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty on that. But people got to go and play Frontiers there because it was on their show floor, and along with that, we got 5 minutes of actual good-looking gameplay. Uh, the game looked a lot better here. There was a good mix of exploration, puzzle solving, and combat, and everything looked so much better than what IGN showed us. And for the record, the IGN first footage, that was not IGN playing themselves. That was Sega or the Sega or Sonic team actually playing it and sending them the footage. Just to get that out the way. But regardless, the Summer Games Fest footage that looked really good, and from what we heard at the time, people who got to actually go and play at Summer Games Fest, they were quite enjoying it. So my opinions were starting to go, a little bit up from there. And then, towards the end of June, there was a Nintendo Direct that happened. It was like I think a Direct mini partner showcase, something like that. Where was quite a bit of third party stuff, and Frontiers was there. And that trailer was the best look we had at Frontiers at that time. Out of everything, that was by far the best look of the game that we've gotten at that time. Because yeah, it did show off the Switch version, and surprisingly, the Switch version, besides being capped at 30, it looks surprisingly good. But we also got to see the cyberspace levels, which are the traditional boost style levels from Forces, Gens, Colors, Unleashed. Linear point A to point B type levels that are smaller, bite-sized stuff. But game from there looked good. I was vibing with it. And then the more we kept seeing it at Gamescom, other events people got to play at, like Tokyo Game Show, EGX, stuff like that, the more I kept seeing it, the more it clicked with me. To the point where now, I'm actually very, very excited for Frontiers. I want to say I'm back at that level of when it was first revealed at the Game Awards last year, where I just exploded in hype. My friends were there, and I screamed really, really loud because I was very, very excited. But yeah, that's where I'm at on a general basis. Gonna dive a little deeper now, start with the open zone aspect of the game. So, like I said, there are 5 islands total that we can just run around in and find collectibles. Because the objective of the game is to find these memory tokens to save Sonic's friends, so Tails, Amy, Knuckles. You also gotta find the Chaos Emeralds by getting Vault Keys, which you get Vault Keys mainly from doing cyberspace levels. I know you can get them other ways as well, but that's like the main way to get them. And to access the cyberspace levels, we need to get Portal Gears, which we get from fighting the Guardian type creatures like Ashura and the ninja enemies. So it sort of goes for this gameplay loop where you go around, you find these stat boosting fruits to increase your speed, defense, attack, and I believe room capacity. You fight the stronger guardian type creatures to get portal gears, do the portal gears, to do cyberspace to get vault keys, get chaos emeralds. Along with that, You get memory tokens to help your friends in order to advance the story and see what happens. And I'm gonna get to the story. Um, and that gameplay loop sounds fun to me, but I wonder how long it's going to be fun. Because again, there are 5 islands total, and it seems like we're going to be doing the same thing on each island. So I'm wondering if this gameplay loop can still stay fun and consistent throughout. Because from what I hear, people have already beaten the game, and from what I'm hearing, this is probably about a 12, 15 hour game. Just I know they said it was going to be like 20 to 30, which I didn't really believe that myself. But yeah, it looks fun, but I'm curious as to how long it's going to stay fun. And again, that whole idea of me just going to going ham on the open zone and just running around, doing a quick puzzle, will get a red fruit to increase my power or whatever. I'm hoping that can just be something that I just want to come back to even after I'm done with the game. But who knows? We'll see. So that part looks looks fun to me. The combat also looks pretty fun. There's a bunch of moves you can get from a skill tree. The main move is, of course, the Psyloop ability, which is where you run in a circle and you have this trail of light behind you, and uh, that can stun enemies. It can also spawn in rings. It can spawn in some memory tokens. Psyloop is pretty much like the big gimmick, I guess, of this game. Like we have the Wisp and the Werehog and whatnot. I guess this is this Frontier's gimmick. And the combat, it looks solid. There, like I said, there's a skill tree. There is a good amount of moves, and there's even drop dash. Surprisingly, this is the first time it's been in a 3D game, and it looks fun to use. Um, but I'm curious if it's going to have the depth of the Werehog. With the Werehog, there were a lot of combos you could get, and I'm looking at the skill tree, and there's not as many that I'm seeing compared to the amount I could do with the Werehog. But the combat itself still looks fun. It looks like there's like a lot of enemy variety, from just basic enemies to the guardian fights to the giant titan battles. Uh, so hopefully, and I'm hoping that since the skill tree not isn't too big, that we won't need to grind for experience a lot to get abilities. That's just what I'm curious of. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the combat. Looking forward to the open zone. I'm just hoping again, stay consistent. I'm curious on what the later islands are going to have in terms of enemy variety and puzzles and all that. Cyberspace is probably the biggest point of contention with this game, and because like I said, cyberspace is the linear boost levels that we know we've been playing since Unleashed, but uh, two big things about cyberspace are sticking out to me. Well, I guess three. Number one is the level themes. There's only 4 level themes that seem to be it from what I'm hearing, and those are Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, and a city theme. The second point of contention is a lot of these level designs are just ripped almost wholesale from past games. And I know that is intentional, because they've said that was an intentional design choice, because the whole point of these cyberspace levels is we're going through Sonic's memories. Um, I'm of two mindsets with this. On the one hand, we are getting some level designs from levels that we haven't seen in a while, a long time. Like one we're seeing is Skyrail from SA2, and that's really cool. You know, we've never seen Skyrail reinterpreted into a boost style game, and that's interesting to me. So on that front, if we can at least get reused level designs from past games that haven't already been in a boost style game, then okay. I'd rather we just have, you know, completely new level designs, which they have said that there are some, but I'm curious as to what the ratio is. But again, on the other hand, I would just rather have original levels and original level themes, you know, because how long have we been complaining about seeing Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary? You know, it's over and over again at this point. I'm, you know, to a lesser extent, Sky Sanctuary because that hasn't been used as much as Green Hill and Chemical Plant, especially Green Hill. But at the same time, I'm still just tired of seeing those, and I just wish we had something new. And you know, even though we have this fourth city style theme, that doesn't really seem to be a special city. It just seems to be kind of generic to me. Um, and I guess the last point about Cyberspace is, from what I hear, it doesn't control the best. And like I'm hearing very mixed things about Cyberspace just in general. Um, and all I ask is if it controls even slightly better than Forces, then I'll handle it, because Forces, even though it's not really a topic of this particular video, I played Forces more than probably most people in the Sonic community. um, so you know, if it's nowhere near as stiff as that, then I'm automatically just gonna like it. That's just me. Um, so yeah, Cyberspace is probably my biggest point in contention. That was also pretty short too. Uh, Most of them, at least. I know the Skyrail one, that was around, from what IGN said, that one was around like 2 to 3 minutes, but most of them are like a minute mark, which I guess encourages replayability, as there are challenges you can do in cyberspace to get extra vault keys. Um, like there's getting an S rank, I believe beating under a certain time, getting all the red rings, and I believe just beating the stage. I want to say. um. So yeah, cyberspace. From what I hear, it is probably the most mixed thing about this game. They also, in interviews and stuff, they have said that it is completely optional. But I'm wondering to what extent that is, because how else are we going to get vault keys besides doing like big fishing or something like that? So yeah, that'll be my biggest point of contention we're going into this game. But I guess next, no, before we get to the story, I want to quickly talk about the soundtrack. God dang, from everything I hear, every piece of music that I've heard so far, this soundtrack is going to be an absolute banger. And that is very exciting, you know? Very, very exciting. Uh, I believe the total runtime of this soundtrack is like 6.5 hours, which is the longest Sonic soundtrack. Um, yeah, because I think either Unleash or '06 was like 4 hours. The other one was 3. um, yeah, everything I hear about the soundtrack is good. I really like the more somber, atmospheric sounds of the island themes, like Kronos Island. That sounds amazing. I really like Ares. I don't think I heard Chaos. I don't think so. But both the first two islands I heard sound really good. Um, the cyberspace levels, those sound really, really good, especially Sky Sanctuary. The first Sky Sanctuary level, that sounds really good. The opening or the main and ending theme, I'm Here and Vandalize, respectively, those sound incredible. Um, yeah, if anything else, this soundtrack is going to be probably one of the better Sonic sound, or at least in the upper tier of Sonic soundtracks. Which doesn't surprise me, as Sonic games usually have amazing soundtracks, even Forces. Live down that hill. So I guess the last thing to talk about is the story, and I don't have as much to say as I probably should, without going into leaks and spoilers, which I'm trying to avoid as much as possible. But if you don't know, for this game, they got rid of the old writers from Colors all the way up until Forces, which is like Pontiff and Graf. I think those were their last names. I don't remember their first names off the top of my head. And they brought in Ian Flynn to write this game. If you don't know who Ian Flynn is, he started work on the Sonic Archie line, I believe, starting at issue like 160, 159 or 160. And he continued on to the Archie line ended, and then he started the IDW stuff. And he used to be head writer, but I think he switches off with like Evan Stanley every now and then now, and a few others. And he is by far the best writer Sonic has ever had, and because he just knows how to write these characters while also paying respect to the series like lore and world building that it already has. And it just, from what like little bits of audio I've heard from Frontiers, yeah, this is going to be something that's very interesting. Just get a basic premise out the way. um Sonic, Tails, and Amy go to the Starfall Islands following the trace of the Chaos Emeralds, which have mysteriously appeared there. But on their way, they are sucked into cyberspace, and Sonic is the only one that is able to make it out. And once he does, he lands on Kronos Island, the first of the Starfall Islands, and from there he sets out to save his friends and pretty much figure out what the heck's going on, while also encountering this mysterious girl called Sage, who, despite the design making you think, has no relation to Infinite. It has been confirmed. They are really playing up this mysterious vibe with the story, and all the marketing and whatnot, and it has me very intrigued with what's going on. Even in, uh, even though they are using the same cast that they've been using since Colors, they Roger and Devin, no, not Devin, David, uh, sound like drastically different as Sonic and Knuckles, respectively. And that was intentional. Everything I hear sounds good. I'm really interested to see what is going on. They've been playing up this mysterious vibe. Ian has been teasing that this is going to be something for the adventure and dark era fans, and I've been getting that vibe a lot, and that is really good because you know Sonic is supposed to be this edgier ish platformer character, so I like it more when he does some of these edgier plot lines like SA2 and yeah, SA2, SA1, Unleashed, uh, the storybook games, stuff like that. And even something like '06, as much as I hate that game, it has a decent premise. Its execution was just absolutely terrible. So, on that front, I am sure that, and just get it out of the way, I have read the IDW stuff. That's why I said that that Ian is the best writer that we've had for Sonic. Because I just really like the way that he writes these characters. I haven't read his run on Archie. I'm still in like the very early stages of the Archie comics. But from just what I've read of the IDW stuff, like the Metal Virus stuff, it he writes really well, especially Eggman. So I'm really looking forward to that on this to Frontiers on the story front and the gameplay front. And honestly, they want Frontiers to usher in this new era for Sonic, and I'm down for it. If Frontiers is anything, it's laying the groundwork for the next decade. And you gotta think about it like this: Sonic is in probably the best spot he's been in years. I want to say since like the '90s. Because think about it: you got two successful video game movies. You got just this year alone, we had the second Sonic movie, which was great. We had Sonic Origins, which was solid. Um, we had the IDW stuff that's still going on. That's still really good. Um, we got Sonic Prime, the Netflix show, coming out in December, and now we're getting Sonic Frontiers. And from everything I'm hearing of people playing the game, it's been mostly positive. It's been like I just want to say like 80-90% positive. Like really the main big point of contention is like some pop-in issues and cyberspace. And I just really hope this game knocks it out of the park. If there's one game in my lifetime that I want to succeed more than anything, it's Sonic Frontiers. I genuinely want this game to do well. I want I want Sonic to do well again, because think about where we were when Forces came out. Just think about it. We knew a Sonic movie was coming, but they still had that original design. We just got off the Boom stuff, which outside of the TV show was very bad to just kind of and forgettable. And even in 2017, we had Mania, which is a great like return to the classics. Um, but even that had some problems. I wish there were a lot more original levels than returning. And then Forces came out, and I think Forces is just kind of average, or like aggressively average, honestly. Just comparing where we were 5 years ago, it's crazy to think that Forces is going to be 5 years old in just like what 3 days. Yeah, this is why I find it hard to do videos like this as much as I want to do more of them. Uh, and honestly, I can get more into just how much Sonic means to me, but this build up to Frontiers, I've been going through so much. Just, on and off ever since June that I'm just hoping, and like I said, I'm hoping and praying this game knocks it out of the park. And from like Sonic 2 Verse, who got the game early, are saying, yeah, Sonic is back. And that, if anything, that just puts a huge smile on my face. Just seeing everyone, just seeing the general public be excited for a Sonic game. At events, at Gamescom and EGX, Tokyo Game Show, the line for Frontiers was packed. And yet there were some negative things that came out of those showings. The game did get stolen at, I believe, EGX, but besides the point. Queues were incredibly long. Even in Japan, where Sonic doesn't do all that well, it won like a best of show award, I think, or something like that. And again, in Japan, of all places, Sonic is in his best. Sonic is in the spotlight. Sonic Team is in the spotlight. And just the sheer confidence that they have in Frontiers gets me very excited for not only Frontiers, but the future of this franchise in general. And that means the absolute world to me. Because Sonic means so much to me as a franchise, as a game, as a character. He means a lot to me. But I can dive deeper into that later. Because I really don't have a lot else to say. Game comes out in like 4 days. I already have quite a few copies pre-ordered, digitally and physically. I'm obviously going to review Frontiers when it drops. I want to try and get it out next weekend, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Spread the word, share the video. Really helps out a ton. And I will catch you guys next time. See ya.